Even though Georgetown, Texas was not named after St. George, but George Washington Glasscock, I want to start today by sharing with you the legend of St. George. It originated in 11th century Georgia, named after St. George, and became widely popular in Christian Europe in the 12th century. The legend tells of a 3rd century dragon causing terror in the city of Cyrene, Libya. People had to sacrifice sheep and eventually even humans to the dragon. The king's daughter was selected as the next sacrifice, but St. George saved her by killing the dragon with a lance. The king was very grateful and offered treasures to St. George, but he gave them all to the poor instead. The people of the city were so impressed by this that they all converted to Christianity and were baptized. You may remember from your high school English classes that there are several categories of literary genres: fiction and nonfiction, poetry, fantasy, drama, comedy, etc. Each of those categories has its own goals and its own unique rules. You will be scorned for laughing out loud at a poetry reading, but it's very much expected, if not appreciated, if you attend a comedy play. Similarly, we do not expect to see dwarfs or dragons in a non-fiction account of Winston Churchill's life, but Tolkien's books are full of them. Not surprisingly, since the Bible is a collection of many books, we encounter various literary genres employed by its authors. There are accounts of historical events, there are beautiful poems, there are legal and legalistic textbooks in the Bible. There even are some very spicy erotic poems included in our holy book. And yes, there are books and chapters of the Bible full of dragons, angels, giants, and other worldly creatures. Such Tolkienesque parts of the Bible are referred to by the scholars as the apocalyptic literature. The word apocalypse comes from the Greek word meaning revelation or unveiling. And to make things a bit more complicated, sometimes we can find various genres in the same book. And we've got to be very careful not to interpret such apocalyptic passages in the same way we would interpret Paul's moral essays or John's poetic theology. The book of Daniel, from which today's first reading about Archangel Michael is taken, as a textbook example of an apocalyptic literature. The Son of Man, coming with the clouds of angels from the 12th chapter of Mark's Gospel, is very apocalyptic as well. Not to mention the dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns from the book of Revelation. All these passages, like the legend of St. George, are not meant to be read literally or to be treated in the same way we treat the stories of Moses or the missionary travels of St. Paul. No. Such biblical fantasy tales have different but very important purpose. They are meant to reassure us that in the end, God and goodness will be victorious. Apocalyptic literature provides heavenly perspective on earthly circumstances, challenging, comforting, and giving hope for the future. They were meant to reassure believers, Jews who were persecuted by the Greeks, and Christians persecuted by the Romans, that God will bring history to a happy conclusion, that the wicked will be punished, and the just will be ushered into God's presence. J.R.R. Tolkien started writing his famous The Lord of the Rings trilogy in 1937, and he worked on it all throughout World War II. While the dark clouds were gathering in the east, in the Nazi Germany, he created a world of magical creatures and unlikely heroes. While the bombs were falling on the English towns and villages, his imaginary characters were struggling against the powers of the Dark Lord Sauron. Perhaps we need to retell his stories again today. Perhaps we need to retell the stories of the angels and the dragons of the Bible to remind us that even when there are dark clouds gathering all around us, God and goodness will be victorious again. Amen. Thank you for keeping me company in this fantastic faith journey. If you enjoy these short stories, please click on the like symbol below this video, subscribe to this channel, and perhaps even invite your friends to check me out as well. Thank you so very much, and God bless you.